Welcome back to Teknobalta. Today, we are tackling a persistent issue that plagues many competitive gamers on Windows 11. We at Teknobalta analyzed a case where the TPM and Secure Boot are active in the BIOS, yet the FACEIT Anti-Cheat continues to throw errors. This is a classic conflict between the hardware-level security protocols and the software's verification layer. First, we must perform a root cause analysis. Why does the system report these features as enabled while the application fails to recognize them? The technical reasoning lies in the firmware communication. Even if a feature is on, outdated firmware might not provide the correct handshake to Windows 11. In this specific scenario involving a BioStar motherboard, the user believed their BIOS was up to date, but a critical fTPM patch was missing. Before we dive into the solution, we must verify the current state of your system. Open the Start menu and type System Information. Look for the BIOS version/date field. We need to compare the string against the manufacturer's latest release. Additionally, check the Secure Boot state. If it says off or unsupported despite being enabled in BIOS, we have a synchronization issue. Another critical component often overlooked is the IOMMU setting. We at Teknobalta have found that FACEIT requires this for memory integrity. IOMMU, or Input-Output Memory Management Unit, manages the direct memory access of peripherals, which is vital for anti-cheat security. Let us begin the main solution path. Step 1. Enter your BIOS by restarting your PC and tapping the Delete or F2 key. Navigate to the Advanced or Chipset tab. You need to locate the IOMMU setting. If it is set to Disabled or Auto, manually switch it to Enabled. This resolves the initial layer of the FACEIT error. However, if the TPM error persists, we must look at the firmware version. Technical experts know that fTPM stability is a common issue on AMD platforms. In our analyzed case, the user had a version from June, but the manufacturer released a specific fTPM update in August. We at Teknobalta emphasize, latest is a relative term. Always check the specific version number on the official support page. Go to the BioStar or your specific motherboard manufacturer's website. Search for your exact model. Download the latest BIOS file. For this solution, the version dated August 31st, 2025 was the key fix. Prepare a USB drive formatted to FAT32. Copy the BIOS file onto the root directory of the drive. Return to the BIOS and use the built-in flashing utility, such as BIOS Update or mFlash. Select the file from your USB drive and begin the update. Do not power off your PC during this process. Technical reasoning. A BIOS update refreshes the platform key and the way the firmware reports security states to the Windows kernel. Once the update is complete, the BIOS settings will likely reset to defaults. You must go back in and re-enable your settings. Ensure fTPM is set to Firmware TPM or Enabled. Ensure Secure Boot is set to Enabled and the Secure Boot mode is set to Standard. Check the IOMMU setting again. Make sure it remained enabled after the flash. Save and exit. Boot back into Windows 11. Now let us verify the fix. Press Windows key +R, type TPM.msc and hit enter. It should state the TPM is ready for use. If it does, the hardware communication is now successful. Open the FACEIT client. The error should now be resolved, allowing you to enter the queue. If you still encounter issues, we have alternative methods. Sometimes, the secure boot keys are corrupted. In the BIOS Secure Boot menu, look for an option to restore factory keys or reset to setup mode, then back to user mode. This forces the motherboard to regenerate the security certificates that Windows 11 and FACEIT rely on. Another alternative is checking the CSM or Compatibility Support Module. This must be disabled for Secure Boot to function correctly. If CSM is enabled, your system is booting in legacy mode, which is incompatible with Windows 11 security requirements for FACEIT. For advanced optimization, we at Teknobalta recommend enabling core isolation within Windows Security. Go to Windows Security, Device Security, and click on Core Isolation Details. Turn on Memory Integrity. This works in tandem with the IOMMU setting we enabled earlier to provide a hardened environment for the anti-cheat. Technical summary. The fix involves 3 pillars: the latest BIOS firmware with fTPM fixes, enabling IOMMU, and ensuring secure boot keys are fresh. We have seen many users stop at the first BIOS update they find. Always verify the release notes for TPM-related improvements. By following these steps, you ensure that your hardware is communicating perfectly with the Windows 11 security subsystem. This not only fixes FACEIT, but also improves overall system stability and security. We at Teknobalta are committed to providing the highest level of technical guidance for the gaming community. If you found this guide helpful, ensure your firmware is always up to date to avoid future compatibility hurdles. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more world-class technical solutions and hardware troubleshooting. Our mission is to keep your system optimized and your gameplay uninterrupted. Technical mastery is just a few BIOS settings away. See you in the next deep dive. Teknobalta, signing off. Stay sharp and keep your hardware in peak condition. Goodbye for now.